Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. My name is Anjali, Enterprise Sales Manager at Ashnik. I have with me today my wonderful colleague, Dennis, Pre-Sales Database Consultant. Well, I believe the future of banking is open, and we are going to discuss some interesting facts and figures around the role of open source technologies in digital transformation of the banking industry and the role of Ashnik. Dennis, since you have a huge experience of 22 plus years in the IT industry, can you please share some of your thoughts in the banking industry? What's going on in the Philippines? I would also like to know the trends and challenges given the COVID situation.
Yeah, thank you, Anjali, and good afternoon, all. Well, I think the most prevalent trend in the banking industry today is the shift to digital, specifically mobile and online banking. Although COVID-19 may lead to, a crisis in the real economy, the impact on the banking system and the relationship of bank to its customer can also define as positive for the purpose of digitization in the banking industry, and of course the ability to offer an excellent customer experience. And here are some of the challenges that banking industry is facing. As you can see on the list, this is really showing uncertainty in the business environment, not only in the banking industry, but in all industry verticals. And this pandemic has forced many companies to revisit not only the financial forecast, but of course to change even the business model and their business strategies. Aside from altering or changing the business models and strategies, it is also important to highlight the uh, cultural shift. Banks need to figure out innovation projects to address these challenges. Therefore, financial organizations must promote a cultural or organization filled with different and several technologies. Digital transformation initiative will definitely optimize existing procedures and processes to gain better results. Actually, the key item here is that the financial institution should adjust to such technologies and digital transformation initiatives to improve overall customer satisfaction.
Thanks. I completely agree with you, Dennis. How about the opportunities?
I love this quote from Charles Darwin, and this is based on what is actually happening globally, I would say. And this is also what financial leaders outlook for this year. It means that the survival during this pandemic, it's not about being the strongest company. It's always how we can easily adapt to change. Actually, because of this crisis, traditional banking system changed abruptly, but um, these changes open our mindset to boost productivity instead. We need to change the traditional approach and do more innovation projects, digital information initiatives, multi-cloud adoption, data analytics, and like what we're always saying, improve the overall customer experience. And here are some of the opportunities that I can pick up. We really need to do innovation projects, a lot of opportunities due to new market demands and product demands. And this pandemic forced us to improve customer experience through digitization, right? AI, Internet of Things. This could be machine learning for financial transactions, automated data analysis, fraud detection, and many more. Internet of Things solutions just revolutionized the way we live now, right? And operational efficiency through DevOps or containerization. Of course, we're always hearing data analytics. This is opportunity helps banks in order to make conclusion from data analysis. I would say from this analyzed data we get insights to improve things, right? So lastly, multi-cloud adoption are some of the great opportunities I foresee. A few years back, cloud is just nice to have, But currently, most of the companies are using four to five different cloud platforms. And please take note that DevOps approach has accelerated, simplified, and streamlined application deployment. All of these are related and facilitates with a multi-cloud strategy adoption.
I agree. Even as you mentioned, multi-cloud adoption, right? I think managing multi-cloud adoption is also very, very important initiatives, what we are seeing in the banking industries. And there, Ashnik is playing a very important role, which we'll be covering. Also, Dennis, I really love the thought of changing the business model to improve customer overall experience. So what do you think the role of technologies and data in driving these changes?
The technology and data plays a very important role in digital transformation journey in the banking industry. They're experiencing significant disruptions because of the new normal, new customer demands. So banks should leverage the power of data, and they should revisit their operational model. And one of the thing here is that data analytics will help you better understand customers or consumers' needs, identify business opportunities, and obviously reduce costs. And you can see some of the importance of data, and those importance in data that I've mentioned plays and drives those functional aspects with all of this customer experience, analytics, operational efficiency, scale and operation, and of course, new revenue model.
Well, that's true. Thanks, Dennis. That's really interesting. Well, in an open source ecosystem with the opportunities which you have mentioned, what do you see any benefits from the technologies, especially in the open source?
Yes, definitely. And here are some of the benefits and important items to remember in open source adoption. Well, I just want to highlight that open source technologies rather helps our customer to cut down their cost without impacting their application performance, but instead improve processes and customer experience. Here's some. For security, open source complies with the government rules and standards by adopting, again, open source. Through migration, it will help you cut down the cost and save money for some other investments like AI, machine learning. Another thing is due to huge number of data generated, you can, just by adopting open source, you can just easily add new resources instead of increasing its capacity. And that's the good thing about it. Diverse deployment, of course, it provides diversity, meaning you can move your application from one place to another, one region to another. Multi-cloud strategy, it improves overall time to market, lower down the cost. Containerization, easy deployment, easy development. The DevOps approach has accelerated and really, again, it really has streamlined the application deployment. Again, this is facilitated by this multi-cloud strategy.
I agree. And I think, open source technologies are, helping our customers to become innovative and, flexible too, right? I would like to share with our customer a very interesting, survey which we did in 2020 in Southeast Asia. And we noticed that, 58% of the customers are, keen to use enterprise open source databases, with 23% community open source database and 19% as the proprietary database. So you can see that 81% customers in Southeast Asia and India consider that open source database will be adopted in their organizations in the coming months. So that's interesting, right?
That's right. Um, that's very interesting, and I agree with you. Um, by the way, Anjali, would you like to, share the role of Ashnik in an open source technologies in the region?
Sure, sure, definitely. Well, Ashnik, we are very, very pragmatic about using open source and cloud technologies to solve, critical business challenges. And over 200 large enterprises in the region have acknowledged our expertise in delivering solutions using the latest open source technologies. We make sure that our clients grow rapidly, while lowering the operation cost, and our suite of services consist of technical services, managed services, architecture consulting, and training services. So if you see the slide, right, so some of the interesting initiatives where we have been involved with major banks and other customers in Philippines and Southeast Asia is database platforms, database automation like Postgres, MongoDB, as an alternative to legacy databases, and technology like Redis for session management and caching, containerization and monitoring using Mirantis and Sysdig, application delivering platform through Nginx, right? And as we talked about multi-cloud platform, right? So their HashiCorp with its technologies like Terraform, Ansible, Vault in that multi-cloud, management is playing a very, very important role. And last but not the least, observability platform using Elastic. With that, Dennis, would you like to share some use cases?
Yeah, sure. Let me share some of the use cases in the banking industry. The first use case is an open source database adoption for both NoSQL and NoSQL. And now this is a very interesting customer, Anjali. And please take note that this customer is one of the Asia's leading company. And this bank has always been among the first to embrace technological innovations and to empower its customer. So their initial requirement are the need to have an alternative database vendor options, preferably open source based that can help them with their new projects or new initiatives. But the real goal is to have a very cost effective open source database solution for both SQL and NoSQL workloads. So the key challenges on this use case is number one, high database license cost. If you gotta compare it with their legacy databases being used, open source database is the right of choice in terms of cost effectivity. And another thing is that nobody likes vendor lock-in, right? I'm sure you will agree with me. So to come up with the solution, what we did was we provided consultancy services to this customer. But prior to that, we conducted a proof of concept activity to make sure that their application will run to this new open source database. We migrated their existing legacy database to open source database, and the good news is that we, of course, definitely, as what we're expecting, we achieved the expected result based on the POC criteria. So let me share the some of the key benefits to this customer. Number one is price performance balance and cost of the optimization using open source database. And again, it avoids vendor lock-in and the adoption and expanding with both SQL and NoSQL workloads. As a result, is the two new database technologies, which are open source, are now being used, which provides better performance at a very cost-effective way. And again, they achieve the freedom of choice. And another use case is database migration. This is another success story. Database migration from a proprietary database to open source database. And this customer is one of the largest bank in the Philippines. And this was established by Philippine government. And the direction of this customer is to use open source database solution as part of their digital transformation journey. we worked, and well, we're we're still working closely with this customer, I would say, and we provide different solutions on their digital transformation journey. Adapting open source databases, one of the historical events happened on this journey. And we help them with the design and implementation of database high availability architecture for, you think of this, Anjali, for their core banking application, meaning using open source for a core banking application. So we help in setting up database management tool, which combines monitoring, alerting, and tuning. And the customer can monitor multiple databases using one database dashboard. So let me share some of the key benefits to this customer. As you can see, uh, they were able to save a lot of money for this investment, and the customer is, continuously adopting open source solution, not only in the database ecosystem, but different open source tools and technologies. 92% cost savings on capex, 63% cost saving on opex, and have 89% annual growth rate in terms of subscription. So it also helps the company to focus on its core business and innovative solution. Another use case is the an adoption of microservices. This is a very unique and interesting customer story. The microservices architecture was, created to address problems caused by the usual or the typical, the monolithic application. This is already widely used, and some large-scale websites already transformed their monolithic application to microservices. And of course, you put your microservices in containers. Containers are composition of your software that includes everything that needs to run, including the code, dependencies, libraries, binaries, and more. And the key challenge for this use case are the customer had many manual processes on their existing pipeline. Having said that, application development and deployment will be impacted. So to better respond to their challenges, we provided consultancy services based on the standard and best practice in identifying the right technology to be used for their CI/CD pipeline. So these solutions offers agility to um, respond to fast-moving market condition and reduced cost of technology solution for businesses. So let me share the key benefits for this customer. They are able to, ability to deploy services faster and reduce time to market drastically. No longer locked into any environment. It can make the best business decision for, future cloud strategy. As a result of this partnership, they were able to deploy their services easily to cut it short and again reduce time to market. Please remember that choosing the right tool or technology is very important to this type of initiative. Um, the last use case that I'm gonna share, this is another one of a kind use case, I would say. A very interesting success story from our customers. Our customers. This is where we designed and implemented a highly scalable logging and monitoring platform for this specific customer. And this customer is a Fortune 500 company and a leading provider of financial services and solutions globally. They're actually offering an IT infrastructure hosting core banking solution as a service to multiple banks. And being a provider of a core banking as a service, it means that this customer has a complex and large amount of logs from infrastructures, from their applications, from database, and more. And those logs are coming from multiple and different data sources. As I've mentioned earlier, data should be analyzed, to provide trends and patterns. So you will be able to get insights and better understanding on what's happening on their system. So the right tool for logging brings the power of search, observability, and security solution to both on cloud and on-prem. So we help the customer to quickly and easily search their environment for information, analyze data to obtain insights, and of course to protect their technology investment. And this logging tool and technology helps the customer to deploy on their own way, whether as a managed service or with orchestration tools. We also they also help this customer through consulting and implementation services of one enterprise-wide centralized logging platform to store, view, and analyze their system performance and maintenance. So what are the key benefits to this customer? It offers the core banking as a service to more banks at a lower cost. It offers better SLAs to its customers and easy to integrate in any other banking channels. And they achieve higher level of efficiency, flexibility, and scalability to support new business initiatives. And smooth integration, of course. And please take note, it's 2 times faster in terms of processing time compared to the old system. And lastly, it improves disaster recovery and business continuity for mission critical applications. As the result, the customer is now offering this core banking as a service to more banks at a lower cost. And again, with this four success story or use cases, among these that I've mentioned, those solutions that we provided to our customers offers agility to business to respond to fast moving market conditions. And we also help our customer to reduce cost, to reduce the cost of technology solution for their businesses. Yeah, that will be all, Anjali.
This is great. Thank you so much, Dennis, for sharing some interesting insights and the role which open source and Ashnik is playing in digital transformation and IT modernization for enterprises in Southeast Asia. Well, I will conclude with some key takeaways. We really need the right mindset. We need the right tools for the right job. Changing business and industry dynamics needs agility, data central to digital transformation, and I would say the most important is possibility to free IT budgets, for innovation by moving away from proprietary technologies to open source. Thank you so much.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you.